Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So today I'm going to be going over the 3 layers which are essential for successful weight loss. So those are the physical layer, the mental layer, and the emotional layer. And I'm going to be explaining what these are in the video and the repercussions of not carrying them out successfully. And while I'm going through the video, feel free to comment and tell me your experiences. What do you feel you are missing to get to your weight loss results, or what's holding you back? And to help you out as well, I'm going to go through by using some slides. So let's jump over to those now. So here we are, and let's get going. So the physical, mental, and emotional layers. So these don't just apply to weight loss, they apply to everything you are trying to achieve in life. But of course, for this example, this is all about weight loss. So the physical layer, this is your interaction with the physical world around you. So everything you basically do and carry out. You may have heard of the phrase, you are the sum of your habits and your actions. So everything you do makes up who you are. So for weight loss, it's the way you eat and the way you move. So your diet and your exercise. And you must be taking action on this layer to get results, okay? You can't just sit back and read something and feel good because you read a book about weight loss. You actually have to be taking action to get results on this physical layer. And this layer weaves into the other layers, that mental and emotional layer, and they directly affect each other. So it's not just one thing, they kind of interlink and affect each other as well. So the problem with this layer is that when the diet is unsustainable, like many diets are, or motivation drops because you're taking action in another layer and it makes you feel better. So for example, like I just said, if you buy a diet book and feel really good because you've read something, you feel like you're doing something about your diet, only in the mental layer, which I'll explain more in a second, basically you're taking something into your mind, then it's not going to get you results because you need to be taking action on this physical layer as well. And yeah, of course, if your diet is unsustainable, those other layers, the mental and the emotional layer, are going to affect you because you need to be fulfilling those emotional needs with your food and also be able to do something that you enjoy as well. So that's the physical layer. So it's all about what you carry out in the world. So your mental layer, this is the conscious part of your brain, so the thinking part of your brain. And it includes your thoughts, what you focus on, your goal, your decisions, what you expose yourself to. So for example, the inputs into your brain. So what you learn, maybe the diet program you follow, the people you listen to, what you watch, what videos you watch, what you expose yourself to, what your brain is taking in basically. And so that all affects your learning and how you think. And this links into the physical layer, as most of your physical behaviors start as decisions, right? So the way you learn things affects how you carry things out. So the problem for this, again, like I mentioned, for some people buying a book and reading it is enough to make them feel better. So they might stop taking action in the physical plane. And this is really common. People will kind of feel they've taken action in the wrong layer of their journey, and it reduces their motivation because they feel like they've done something and it makes them feel better. And you're driven by feeling bad, right? That gives you the push. So if you feel better by reading a book about something, you haven't actually got any results. You have just made the feelings go down, and so you stop taking action in that physical layer. So this is like an example of how these can weave in together and how not applying them all can affect your overall results. And some people, their goal is around something that moves, and because of this, so does their motivation. For example, if their goal is around a holiday, so a holiday will come and go, and you'll have lots of holidays in your life, possibly. So if that is how your motivation is driven, then it's not going to be very good, because when your holiday ends, then so will your motivation. So thinking around your goal and what your focus is on in this instant is very, very important. So this mental layer is something that is all about learning and where your inputs into your brain are coming from and what they are. And it links into that physical layer. So this is something that a lot of diet programs will not focus on. Actually, how you go about your weight loss process and yeah, basically how that interacts and creates your behaviors. Now we move on to the emotional layer. So this is the unconscious part of your brain. So it's where your habits and it's your survival brain as well. So this includes your emotions and your bodily systems like your hormones, brain function, and heartbeat. And so, of course, how you feel reflects on where your focus is, which reflects into your physical action. So if you're feeling bad, then you're going to be focused on negative things, which, of course, often makes you not want to take action on your goals. So it's very important to have this layer worked on, because if you're feeling negative and bad all the time, your focus is going to be on what you don't want rather than what you do want. And so it's going to affect those results. Also, it includes things like limiting beliefs, secondary gain, and protection mechanisms. So limiting beliefs are things that hold you back. So if you are not 100% in and believing in your process of your journey, then there's always going to be those things pulling you back in the opposite direction. So if you don't believe what you're doing is going to work, or you don't believe in yourself, or you don't believe in something, then that's going to make you, that's going to stop you getting results. And also secondary gain. So secondary gain is the idea that everything you have or do that seems negative, there's also a benefit for it. So being overweight, there will be a benefit for it, even if you haven't consciously thought about that. So for some examples could be, I feel comfortable because I don't need to take action, and I can eat my favorite foods, and I don't need to do anything. That's a secondary gain. It's a benefit, right? But it could be a bit more deeper, like I've tried so many times, and if I fail again, I'll feel worse about myself. So that's a positive, not trying, because you won't feel worse about yourself for failing once again. So those kind of things like that. And it's because it's your survival brain, which includes the protection mechanisms. And so those include emotional eating and your cravings. So that's why they are so strong. They serve a purpose, whether you realize it or not. So cravings are solving a problem for you, and it's usually something to do with negative emotions, because negative emotions are an indicator to a threat to your body if you're feeling bad. And most people have taught their brain that eating food makes them good, makes them feel good. So your unconscious survival brain is learning that these cravings are actually good for you because they make you feel better and they take away that negative emotion. And so they are serving a purpose in this way. It's not logical, but for your unconscious survival brain, it's beneficial. So that's why working on this emotional layer is so, so important. And again, why most diet programs, they're not understanding that this even exists or how important it is. And so it's so important to actually work on this and fix emotional eating because of these problems that it causes, pulling you back in the opposite direction to where you want to go. And this layer is also your identity. So if there are any conflicts, then you're just going to be forcing the weight loss process, which is why it's so tiring sometimes. So if you don't believe you are set out to be fit and healthy, and if you don't see yourself as that person, and if you don't kind of want to be that person, then you're always going to be just forcing this diet upon yourself, and it's going to be that conflict with your emotional layer. So it's very important, again, to be able to think about this and solve this problem as well. And this also includes how you fulfill your emotional needs. So a lot of people are using food to fulfill most of their emotional needs. So for fun, for relaxation, for excitement, for variety in their life, they're using food for all these things. And of course, that's okay, but if it's not serving you, as in if you're gaining weight and you don't want to be, then you need to be able to fill these essential emotional needs in other ways. So again, working on this emotional layer for these things is super important, because then it will reflect in the physical world as well, as in your actions and your results physically to your body. So these three layers are super important for weight loss success. They are super, super important. And most diets focus on that physical layer only, but also badly, because most diets are unsustainable because they cut things out. They're very tiring. They're not something you feel you can do forever. And it's basically very willpower based, or even like detox based, or 30-day plan and things like that. So most diets focus on this layer only, but don't do it very well. And that's why you don't get results. So it's very important that this physical layer is done well. But then also the psychological part as well, because weight loss is just as psychological as it's physical. So that mental and the emotional layers as well. So your behaviors affect your action, and so therefore your results too. So all these behaviors coming from your brain are so important to actually work on. And then the whole process of losing weight becomes so much easier when everything is in a line. And of course your emotions affect your focus as well, because like I said, if you're focused on, or if you're feeling negative emotions, any kind of negative emotion, then you are focused away from what you want and basically on what you don't want. And that takes your behaviors in a different direction, okay? And so you won't be carrying out actions towards your goal, you'll be dealing with the emotions. So again, very important to work on this. And these mental and emotional layers are very poorly understood and applied to the weight loss process. So like I said, most diet programs don't even consider they exist, and they don't work on them at all, but they are essential for long-term success. Yes, you can lose weight without them, but this is why you yo-yo diet. This is why you relapse and things like that, because these things are not in place to make it easier and cement the process and cement the results. And this is kind of the key to why people don't get long-term results, because they're not working on these other layers as well. And most people will just try and force themselves to work on that physical layer. They'll put all their willpower in and be perfect, but then those mental and emotional layers pull them back to where they were before, which is what yo-yo dieting is. So again, it is so important to work on all these three layers. So that's it, guys. So let me know, did you find this video useful? Do you find that most diets or things you've done have missed out some of these steps? And do you feel that you need to now implement some of these steps to actually get better results? Let me know in the comments down there below. And also at the same time, I have opened up my free group for women who would like to lose weight and overcome their emotional eating. So I have put a link down below for that as well in the description and in the comments. So if you would like to join that group, just click on the link below and I'll accept you in. In this group, I do a live video every Wednesday at 6 p.m. UK time on emotional eating, why it's caused and how to fix it. So feel free to join if you'd like. And of course, subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Like the video because that helps other people see it, and I'll see you in the next one.